guys and girls. When I say guys, I mean really girls, right? I hope you know that. How are you? I'm going to tell you today about my friend who's extremely inspirational. That's why I'm going to tell you about her because I was having a conversation with this one mom recently who has been a stay-at-home mom with her kids, two kids. Then she went back to work to do some, I think, accounting, um, for like outsourcing accounting. Like she was doing some services, but she was really not finding any satisfaction in it. In fact, she was finding that she was not really fulfilled by it, but the home life was suffering. So she was looking for some sort of meaning and purpose and something that she likes doing. So, um, but she was saying, I don't know what to try. I don't know what to do and afraid to make any changes but wanting something different for herself. Right. And she says, but I'm at this age, I'm kind of already older and I've been out of it for a while. I don't know what to do. And I really said, like, why don't you just try something? Try this, try that. And I told her the story of my best friend. And my friend, she is amazing. She's really inspirational. She inspired me a lot. She inspired herself to create the life that she has now. And I think it's really the story of every mom out there who's taken time off from work to have some kids, to have a mat leave, to stay home for a while. And then we have to decide, what do we want to do? And so my friend, she's amazing. So here's her story. And this is why I want to share with you, because there's one message here for you is to one message: try something for a little bit and then decide if you like it. It's super simple, but we don't think of it that way as adults. For some reason we think, oh my god, I have to make this decision that's going to last me for the rest of my life. So of course we don't make a decision, because it's paralyzing to think you're making a decision for the rest of your life, and that you have to invest this money in the education and make a career change and all this stuff, which is completely not useful, because then you're just not going to do it, because where you're not sure if you're going to like it, you're not sure if it's worth it, you're not sure if it's going to be worth leaving the family for, and all these things. And this is where the simple try it comes in. Just do a pilot. You know how they make shows, but before the show gets approved, they have to make a pilot. The first episode is always called a pilot. And then once they run the pilot, they really see, okay, how do people like it? Is it working? And so do a pilot, try something, try and then decide. And this is so simple and I tell my kids all the time, but as adults, we forget. We overthink it too much, that it's going to really make an impact. And we have to, because usually when you try something, you need to invest time, invest money, invest energy, right? Commit to something. So we are less inclined to do it if we are not sure that it's going to work out, right? We're like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I really want to do this. Then I'm just going to really think about it more. I'm going to research it more. I'm going to just wait, I'm going to talk to more people, which doesn't really get you any more information because you're not doing it. So I really think we need to really adapt this whole thinking of try it and then decide, do a pilot and then decide. So this is what I want you to take away from it today, but I'm going to tell her story because I think it's fascinating. I didn't even realize how much my friend has tried until I was telling this mom. So my friend, she came here to Canada from Czech Republic about 11 years ago. And she has had a career in a telecommunications company in Czech Republic. She was the right hand person for one of the CEOs there in the telecommunications company, which meant she ran a lot of marketing and operations, and she had a lot of freedom to get things done for the company, in the company, and she was really successful at it. She loved it. She had a good career, and then she met her husband. They had kids, and they had to travel a little bit for her husband's work. until they moved here to Canada. And at that point, she had two little kids, which she brought to our school. And that's how I met her. Our kids were, two of her kids are exactly the same age as two of my oldest kids. And so her boy is best friends with my middle boy. And her and I became best friends just over the years. We have a lot in common and we're just kind of going through life together. And so this was 11 years ago. She came to Canada. She was 39 years old and she felt kind of not great being in a new country, not being confident with her language, and really not knowing like what direction to take in her life. So a couple of years later, once she kind of settled in and the kids were on their way, like they didn't need her that much, they were full time, she really started searching for what does she want to do next. And I think her husband helped her, and like whoever. I wasn't hanging out with her that much at that point yet, but she took a photography class because she thought, okay, what am I interested in? Photography. She took that class. I think she also like researched some design. So it was either photography, design, or nutrition for her. So she took a photography class, but because everything is digital right now, she really didn't see the direction in there, what to do. So next thing she did, so this is how her thinking was. She was on a search of kind of like, what does she like? So she was trying things. The next thing she did was a course in nutrition. It was a 1 year certification, like hardcore, full time in nutrition. So she graduated with a certificate in nutrition. But once and this is when her and I were chatting a lot, and I remember her graduating and realizing that what is she going to do with this certificate? And there was little bit of a shock because a lot of options to work with a certificate in nutrition is run your own business. Because if you want to have a job in a hospital or any other corporation, you need you need a degree. You need a higher level of education in nutrition to work for somebody else. So her thinking was, okay, well, she brainstormed a lot and she decided to open a business. And I remember us talking a lot about it and figuring out what the business would be, who would be her target audience. And she ended up settling on busy mom nutrition, so helping moms figure out nutrition and how to feed their family and themselves while they're busy. And so she tried that for a year and a half, I remember. And it was not an easy task at all, right? If you have ever started a business, I have started a business, it is a trials and failures over and over and over again to figure out what works, what doesn't work. How do I market to clients? Who are my clients? Where are my clients? How do I ask them to pay me? How do I make that sale? How do I promote myself? It's a constant every day. It feels like a struggle because when you have a business and you're selling a service, like you're not selling a product, and this was for me as well. We were both actually had started a business at the same time. And because you're inexperienced, I guess, and you are new to it, it's very easy to fall into the trap of feeling like you are selling yourself, which in part you are, right? Like in a way, you are selling yourself because you are providing the service. So the people who are buying from you, they have to like you, they have to trust you in order for them to hire you, right? So you are promoting yourself, right? Her and I both were doing that. And it was a struggle because you find that you are not, it's not as easy to sell yourself, right? We found that it's a lot easier to sell a product because you have doubts in yourself, you have insecurities, you have lack of confidence in areas about yourself, but the whole idea of the business is to sell yourself. So her and I kind of were in that for a while together. It was really fun doing that together at the same time, and talking about it and growing and getting clients and figuring out how to get clients. So she went through that for a while until I think COVID happened during that time. After a year of her running her business, my business was online, so I could just continue doing that online, like coaching people. But hers was, um, she had to close down, right? Because she couldn't really, and I think at that point she ran out of steam. It didn't, nothing was working. She was not satisfied with the outcome, and so she pivoted and she opened up a company, a different company. So notice how she's, every year, this was like 1 year after year, she's now trying this, trying that, trying this, trying that. And while I was kind of alongside her, talking to her every week, I saw the struggles firsthand, the doubts, the frustration, the kind of giving up and the depression. But overall, now looking back at that, like from a distance, zooming out, what is evident is the persistent trying, which is really impressive because it's so easy to just give up and stagnate and just stay the same. Just kind of like, oh, well, this business didn't work, then I'm just going to sit at home. It happens to so many of us. And because we get discouraged, we feel like, okay, I wasn't good enough, I couldn't do it, I'm just going to hide for a while in shame, you know? So easy. Yet not her. So she, right away, as soon as the COVID started, she decided to close down her business and decided to open a new one with a partner. And the next business was making organic almond milk. Okay. And she had a great go at that. She had lots of customers. It was all local. They made almond milk that was really healthy, fresh almond milk, no preservatives, no added sugar, and it was delicious. Her and her partner made that. They would make it one day, deliver it the same day to all the local spots, and that ran for about 8 months. And meanwhile, she was, working on expanding the business and trying to get into local stores, and she did get into some local spots, but eventually it came to numbers and money and really not being a sustainable, profitable business, because it was either her staying at the same level that she was at, just local small batches, or scaling up, which she wanted to do. But when you're scaling up, you couldn't go scale up from, like, let's say 100 bottles a week to 500 bottles a week. You couldn't do that because of the technology. You needed machines, you needed the amount of almonds, you needed big presses to make the milk. And to do that, you need to make a big investment in the equipment, which the jump would be like, in, thousand, let's say a small amount of money, like $1,000 for almonds, to like 25,000 investment into the equipment, and then you need a big space, you need to hire people. So she really did run the numbers and scale up in numbers to really see, would that be profitable. But then when that happens, when you scale up, you really need to make your product shelf stable. So she had to learn about all that. She had to find out what preservatives you put into the milk to really make it shelf stable. And that would be compromising the quality of the milk she wanted to make. So overall, because it would not be profitable and she would be making a different product, she decided not to continue with that and to just step out, which was so brave, right? To just say, nope, didn't work, next. And so, of course, it was sad. And I used to buy milk from her every week. And so I'm telling you this, and because this is another thing that she tried. The next thing that she tried was she got a job as an assistant at a wealth management group, which was part of the bank. She tried that for a year. It was not a good fit for her at all because she is a questioner. She is and she wants to improve things. She wants to find out, why is this done this way? How can we make it better? um, what else can we do? What is needed here, right? Whereas that spot that she was in really wanted a doer and like a non-questioner. So it was not a great fit for her. Again, she learned a lot about herself in that position. It was not a good fit. She moved on. So you see how many things she tried. This is like, this is so inspiring for me, and for me to tell others, like, to this is a person in her 40s, right? When we feel like we might be tempted to feel that, oh, nobody wants to hire a 40 something year old. I don't have good English. I'm in a different country. This she had to struggle with that at every step of her journey, and yet she just kept on pushing. So this is why I find this story so inspiring, because she just kept on going despite of all her doubts about herself. Of course, it's so easy for me to say that now, all the things she tried. Meanwhile, I know how hard it was for her to go from each step to the next, right? So it wasn't like, oh, okay, next. It was more like it was a hard. These were hard emotions. These were. It didn't feel easy, for her. It felt like she was unsatisfied, looking for her something that fulfills her, and not that happy, like it was struggling, right? So then after wealth management, I so for a while, then again she's like, okay, let's keep looking. So she just decided, okay, I'm going to volunteer. I'm curious about how this works at a food bank. So she signed up to volunteer that one year at a food bank once or twice a week. She was in a call center, as well as in the pantry where you put together bags of food for people. So she was curious. She's like, how does this work here? I don't know. So let me sign up, volunteer, and figure it out. She learned a lot from that experience. She learned a lot of how to talk to people on the phone. Because she was very um, not as confident in her language skills, coming from a different country in English, but having to be on the phone and having to deal with people, and also having to deal with people who are upset. They're like, they would call her and say, I need some food. Can I come pick it up tomorrow? And she would have to tell them, no, I'm sorry, we have already those spots filled. You can come next Thursday. And then the people would be upset, and she would have to learn to deal with, how do you deal with them? How do you not get upset and uh, just just tell them, I'm sorry, this is what we have, and you're calm, right? So she learned a lot from that. At the same time, I think she was also volunteering at her daughter's triathlon organization, um, where she um, volunteered in organizing and marketing the triathlon club, and she loved it. I think she still volunteers here and there, you know, trying to help them, but she has a full-time job now, which I'll get to. So she learned a lot from that as well. She learned that, and well, I learned, we both learned what type of job does she need. And so from those two, she moved on and applied to work at the cafeteria at the school, our school where the kids go to. And this was a hard decision for her, because coming from working for a telecommunications company as a right hand person of a big boss, which is a prestigious position where you are in charge of a lot of projects and you have a lot of freedom and you're getting paid really well, to going to work as a lunch lady at the cafeteria, it can be a big blow to your ego, right? It could take a lot for you to really set the ego aside and say, I'm just going to try it. And this is exactly what she did. And it was tough. She had to overcome that. And then, doing the job, she was happy to learn all about how that works. She applied her organizational skills. Like she loves organizing. That's She taught me a lot about organizing my home, my life. And she kind of made that space her own, organized the way she liked it. She was very happy. But of course, after a while, by Christmas, she already knew everything about that job. She learned everything she could, and she was getting a little bit bored. She was like, okay, I'm just making food every day, which is not the most nutritious food for the kids. It's just food to give them. And, I don't have any say in what we feed them. I don't have any say in how we can make this better. And it's totally fine. That was not the right position for her, but she did it. She tried it. She stuck it out to the end. And the most amazing thing happened at the end of the year. There was a position opening up, a brand new position created in the development department of the school. So, development meaning fundraising and building the school and making a school better. And she applied and she got the job, which was last summer. So now it's been a year that she's been in her new job at the school in the development position, and she has found her spot. After 11 years and trying 10 plus things, different jobs, she has found her spot where the job meets, knock on wood, like it's still great, it meets all of her criteria, like where a place where you can improve things, a place where you have freedom to do them the way you like to do them, a place where you can question why is this done the way it is and can we make it better, a place where you have the freedom to start your own initiatives, a place where she's working with people and people who are fun to work with. Another criteria was to really work and do something that you believe in and makes an impact and makes the world better, which was a big criteria to fill, right? You don't want to just work for a company and feel like this is meaningless work and you really are unsatisfied and it really doesn't matter. So these were high criteria to fill, and you make decent money. So she's found that job. She's completely satisfied, which we are still in awe because, sometimes you go through life and you think, well, like, I got this thing, I'm still unsatisfied. I did this thing, I'm still like looking for something. And you keep doing that. And then after a while, you think, am I just going to always feel like that? Regardless of what I'm doing? Is it just me? Is it just kind of like part of life where you're a bit unsatisfied all the time? And which I think it is part of life a bit, right? That's why we keep looking and trying different things. But overall, this did work out and she is completely satisfied and feels like she belongs and this is the right fit for her. So, which is so exciting for me to see from my friend, and she's just glowing in that position. So, it's super fun. And so why was I inspired to tell you about her today is because I spent the morning with her at the school for an hour, and she invited me to be involved in some of the volunteering opportunities at the school, to be on this building committee and make the school better, because they're involving all these parents to get involved and really make the school better. So I spent a morning with her and all these wonderful women working at the school and volunteering, and it made me really made me think about all the journey that she's been to get there. And now that she's there, it really makes you see, believe that it is possible to find satisfaction for us. And the journey there is a bunch of fails on the way, like me seeing her fail all through last 11 years and being discouraged and having all the terrible emotions and doubt and fear and depression, all those things that you have to go through to get to a place where you're like, this is so fun, this is satisfying, I believe in what I'm doing, I'm happy that I'm here, and I want to be here. It's so encouraging, and I love it so much for her. And the more that I see her in her place where she belongs, the more I feel that I am in a place where I belong. Raising my boys, sharing this with you on my podcast. So, this is my way of giving back, my way of volunteering my time, my wisdom, my experience. So, sounds so funny, but I feel like that gives me fulfillment in knowing that I'm making a world a better place this way. On my terms, the way I like it, the way I believe helps people, as moms out there. So, and I love thinking of trying things. Like, I don't have to commit. I can always change my mind. She taught me that. And I love um, just saying, okay, let's try this. Like, let's try a different room for a kid. Let's try this furniture that way. Whereas before, I just remember it was so, I didn't even do it consciously. I would just think that that change would be forever. And I wouldn't even try it. You know what I mean? And I'm a lot more willing for it to be a fail. I'm like, okay, well, this could not work out, but I'm willing to try it. Like, I'm already ready for the worst case scenario. Like, in my head, I'm like, okay, you know what? If it doesn't work, it's fine. So I really credit her in inspiring me to do that. And I don't think she did it on purpose. I think she was just trying to figure out her life. I mean, she did tell me on purpose. I remember a long time ago, she told me, she said, just try things, just start trying anything. And that really gave me a boost to it. And I found life coaching, and I was crazy over life coaching for a while. And I've learned a lot from what I've learned from Brooke and from running a business and coaching people. And I think I still enjoy coaching people. I just have moved on to the next phase in my life where I'm like just solving my own problems, and I'm on a roll, and I'm sharing what works. And I took a lot from learning about thought work and how to really create through my thoughts. So she inspired me to try that, and I still use that to this day. The try something, do a pilot, and then reevaluate, you know? So I'm sharing that with you. I think we're all grown-ups, we all need to hear that sometimes. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to tell you, the other thing she also really considered doing was opening up a nail salon with a partner. And this, she didn't do it, but she really put in a lot of time to create a business plan, look at different locations to open one up, did the numbers, like really put in time to see if it's a good idea and if it's worth investing money in. And so, well, like the variety of her different trials, different things she tried is huge, and it takes a certain kind of thinking to do it. And the thinking is quite simple. Let's just try it, right? Okay, guys, that's all I have for you today. And I love you, and have a great week, and go try something today that could be a total fail. Totally could be, but be okay with it. Be like, you know what? I tried it. And you know what? Here's something else I tried. I'm going to tell you what I tried this week, which is actually quite funny. Well, to me, it's funny. So, my husband's away on a business trip this week. So, a couple weeks ago, when he told me about it, I said, okay, cool. And I am on a search for making my dinner planning easier, right? So, I thought, okay, let me try one of those meal kit companies the week that he's away. Why not, right? So, I went online, I found one, I subscribed to one, I picked out the meals, and I paid for it. Everything was done. And then I still was poking around on the website, and I opened up one of the recipe cards that it's going to give me, and it showed me, okay, chop up the potatoes, put the potatoes in the pot, like boil the potatoes, take the chicken breast out, put it on the pan. And when I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, like, I don't need a meal kit to do this. I already know how to do this. Like, I can come up with this myself. Like, I don't need a meal kit to tell me to boil potatoes from mashed potatoes. So I decided this is stupid. I don't need it. I'm already a really good cook, blah, blah, blah. And I went ahead and I canceled. I canceled the whole thing. I said, it's fine. I don't need it. This is not the right product for me. So 2 weeks go by and I get an email from the meal kit company saying, your box is on the way. And I thought, what? I canceled that thing. Why is it coming? So I call them and I say, what happened? I canceled it. And they say, well, you canceled the subscription, but you didn't cancel the first box. So I think, oh my gosh, this is stupid. You guys need to figure out a better way to do business, because why would I want food delivered if I cancel the subscription, right? Doesn't that up? So anyway, they said it's too late to cancel the box. We'll refund you the money, but you're still getting the food. So I thought, okay, fine. So the food gets here, lots of packaging, sure enough. I put it all away and I still think, okay, fine, I'll try it. So now I've tried 2 meals this week from the meal kits um, uh, company. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did. Why? Because I learned new things by trying it. So first I learned in the first step that I don't think I need it, because like I learned that I like seeing pictures of the meals to get inspired of what to cook. So maybe next time I search up what to make, I will not search up like words, maybe I'll search up pictures. You know what I mean? I learned that about myself. So if I see something that I want to make that looks good, then I'm like, yes, I want to make it. Let's get the ingredients, let's make it. So I learned that about myself. And then the other thing I learned is, now that I have done 2 meals from it, well, a couple things. I learned one fun way to make a chicken breast that my boys loved, which was easy. And that was great. The other thing I learned, that I do enjoy actually having someone else like kind of pick the recipe for me, kind of someone else prepare all the ingredients, put them in the bag, and all I have to do is to cook it. That is kind of fun. I don't have to meal plan. I don't have to grocery shop. I don't have to make sure all the ingredients are in there in the house. I just have to open the bag and follow the instructions. And if it's asking for like crispy onions and pineapple, I have that. I don't have to worry about making, oh, do I have this little ingredient that is nice to have, but it's kind of pain in the butt to make. So I really enjoy that. I'm like, okay, well, that is nice. I do enjoy that part of the meal kit, but I would have never known if I didn't try it, right? So now I'm actually a lot more willing to use meal kits, say in the future, maybe, right? If I want to, because I know that I like certain parts of it. But I would have never known if I never got the box. So I'm kind of glad the first box did not get canceled. So the other thing I learned is that, what else did I learn? I learned that I did this all meat based recipes because my boys all want meat, and I have been eating, and I really learned that I do not want to eat more meat. I have this bad taste in my mouth when I eat meat, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want it, and I want to eat more plant based. So I want to make sure. Like, I'm now really curious to try the meal kits for plant based for vegetarians. Like, because you learn new recipes, you learn new tricks, you learn something that you would not have learned if you haven't tried it. And this is what I'm loving. I'm loving this, even though I'm not going to do that again just now in the near future. But I know it's a great tool to have. So this is just another example. Like, if you think that you want to try something, like, honor that desire, because that desire will teach you something. What is it going to teach you? I don't know. But you're going to learn something useful. So go try something that you haven't tried yet. And another thing I tried recently was rowing. Well, I tried it. I already have tried it in my life before. I did a whole summer of rowing in university. which was so fun. Like it was great. We rode every morning, 6 mornings out of the week for a whole summer on the river in Ontario. Oh my gosh, it was like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I don't remember. Early. It was so beautiful. I loved it. And I loved being part of the group. I loved being in nature. And so we have a reservoir in Calgary where we don't have a lake, but we have like a man-made reservoir where we do have a rowing club. And so I signed up for this adult learn to row program, even though I know how to row. But the timing was right, and I thought, oh, let me just do it. And so I went to the first session, and the first session was dryland, mostly dryland, where they kind of go over what is what, how you do it, how to safely do it, blah blah blah, the movements of it, and all the things. And after that first session, I thought, oh my gosh, this is a waste of my time. I already know everything, and I'm kind of scared. And so I realized that I was scared going on the water. I was like, what if I fall in? What if I'm not as good as I used to be? What if this is super hard? It's been like 20 whatever years. So now, now that I'm learning now as an adult, trying new things, you will have that reaction. You will be scared. And your mind will want to convince you not to do it. And guess what? The next session, the first session for rowing, there was 5 of us. The next session for rowing, there was 3 of us. So did people get scared? Yes, they got scared. Either they got scared or they found they really couldn't make it. But because I felt that fear, you're uncomfortable, and you're a grown-up. You don't have to do it. You could just like skip it. You could be like, oh, it's bad weather. And so that morning was a bit of a kind of bad weather, but the second time, but by the time the rowing time came by, the weather was beautiful. So I can easily see as a grown-up how easy it is to deviate, to not go through with something you want to try because you get a little uncomfortable, you get a little scared, and your mind wants to convince you, oh, I'm not going to do it. Oh, whatever, it's fine, it's bad weather, la la la, whatever. So I'm on to my brain about that, because this morning when I went to the meeting with my friend and all the volunteers, I had the same reaction. I was like, I slept in. And so at first my brain's like, oh, maybe you don't have to go. You slept in, you're not ready. You don't have to go another time, blah, blah, blah. And I felt uncomfortable. I'm like, what if, well, I'm gonna have to talk, and I just started worrying about all these different things, and I noticed the same tendency as I had before rowing. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just nervous, in the new situation. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just kind of whatever, move through. It'll be fine. Um, but I think as grown-ups, we need to learn that about ourselves and still try new things just to keep it going, and it's fine, right? You kind of like you move on, learn about that about yourself, and really get better at doing that, being uncomfortable, being in new situations, being with new people, and then you have a great time. It's just like the kids. You just have to parent yourself. All right, guys, hope this is inspiring to you as it was to me and as it was to my friend, to really go try something and be ready for it to be total fail and then move on. Okay. All right, guys, have a great week. Bye.